Are we recording?
Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
We're recording. You can set a virtual background if you want as well.
I think I'm ashamed of the poverty that I live in.
Well, it's kind of the charm, right?
You think I don't like to represent where I'm from? How do you do that? How do you set a background? That's what my problem is. I'm trying to read, which is a huge battle for
issue.
me.
Yeah.
I feel like I could talk so much quieter with these mics because I can hear myself through the mic.
Yeah, let me...
Listener, it might sound dumb as hell what you're hearing from me right now, but believe you me that I'm grinning ear to ear because I'm picking up a pin drop and I'm not feeling like I need to shout over someone outside with a leaf blower.
You're in the neighborhood where someone has a leaf blower at 9:30 at night.
One of them like massive Rolls Royce turbine engines roaring on the airfield.
This is gonna just be. We're out of prologue now. We've got the equipment.
Wow.
Headphones, proper headphones.
Blur in my background.
Proper microphones. You know.
I might quit this and just start singing. You don't have to be good to be a singer. You can sing about anything.
Is that why so many people go on the shows, you know, like Voice, American Idol, things like that? Because of that belief? Yeah.
It's probably actually the same belief that wound me into this chair with you right now. Anyone could do a podcast.
Anyone can. Well, I truly believe anyone can do it. Well, I don't think anyone can do a podcast because there's a lot of people who can't talk their way out of a paper bag, as we say. But you have to be able to at least shoot it, you know, shoot the shit.
Shooting you strange little girl, baby, what's your
I just imagine
name?
You have like a big pile of plastic spoons that you that just sit in a corner of your dilapidated home.
Yeah, dishes are for cucks.
There's the episode title right within the first 5 minutes.
Doing dishes is cucked.
Right.
This is opening up a Pandora's box of fucking off on the computer for
You're
eons.
like a kid you look like a kid in a candy shop right now.
Well. Who has
just happy to be here?
Who has let me into the doors here? It's on them. It's not my fault. I'm just a child.
See, they didn't think that you'd actually find the resources to get, you know, like the man. I'm just talking about the man in general. Didn't think that you'd ever have the resources to get proper equipment. I'm gonna peel off a Kenny Powers kind of accoutrement there.
Let's start off with our mantras.
To actually get your voice out there to the people. So there's so basically it's a selector of how it's picking up the audio.
Stereo, omnidirectional, cardioid, bidirectional.
Just try to position it so it's in front of your face.
Definitely.
Like a fist away from your mouth, like Joe Rogan says.
Is that what Joe Rogan says?
Yeah, every time he has a lot of guests who had never spoken into a microphone.
Oh,
before.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's like, yeah, pull it so it's a fist away from your face.
I was imagining Joe Rogan just opening up a show just with one of his daily reminders. Viewers listening to me right now, be sure that you whenever talking, put your fist in front of the microphone. Try to do I'm Joe Rogan. This is Fear Factor. Right here, folks. Put your. I feel like the Alex Jones accent is too easy, and it makes me think, not accent specifically, but the way he's talking.
There's obviously an element of showmanship in his voice, but he never drops it, so I don't think it's an act. You know, like I don't think he gets home and he has this like Boston hey, how you doing? I don't know, some New York he gets home, he just talks like a a guy from the Bronx or something. I just don't think that's the case. Or it'd be very surprising to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a refined British accent. He gets, I'm like, oh wow, that was lovely.
A mid-Atlantic.
We can
accent.
cut all this out. We can cut all this out.
No, Alex Jones with a mid-Atlantic accent. It's because
Well, the Pittsburgher accent is how yin's doing.
Dawn?
It's how yin's doing.
Dawn, I told you.
Jeet jet.
Yeah.
It's like Boston. It's like everything is extended.
The mid-Atlantic accent goes through Pennsylvania and then down to like Maryland, right?
I don't think Maryland. I don't think Maryland has.
I hear it, The Wire, right?
Yeah, I watched The Wire,
and towards the end, it's only towards the last like season or few, right? Because it's when you go to the shipping yard, ragtag crew.
Yeah, they're all like Boston guys. Yeah,
no, that's the Mid-Atlantic. That's when they don't open it up in the show. They don't get like authentic to the region. And then it's also culturally like
I think that's the second season or second or third season where they just totally changed the show.
Yeah, they get into like actually representing.
All right, white people now.
Yeah, come on, everyone, come in. Set change. Let's go now.
Yeah. No, it's a great show. It's a great show.
I think a lot of people, listener, if you're out there and you've never seen The Wire and you've thought about it, when you get into it, it's tough to maybe get through the beginning fact that the entire cast and crew is like cops, and maybe you don't give a shit about that, or maybe you do. It might be a bit of a barrier, but it's a good fucking show, and it's not specifically just a cop show.
Well, the cops are fucked up like everyone else.
You can root for the bad guys, and you can root for the bad cops. So it's a win-win for everyone in America. It just don't make 100%. TV like
That's why it was a success.
Watch your back. Well, I beg your pardon. Walk a straight and narrow track. If you walk with Jesus, he'll save your soul. You gotta keep the devil down in the hole.
Yeah, because you're a bad guy and you want to root against the cops, or you're a badass guy and you want to fantasize about the bad cop, the rogue cop doing whatever he must to not just get pussy, but to also fight crime. Fucking McNulty? Are you kidding me?
McNulty. It's like an ego thing with him. He doesn't really care. Like the character doesn't really care about doing good. Just
classic badass guys. Badass cop guys,
but he's not like a good guy. Like he's not like a good guy at all. He's very complex and very bad.
Yeah, well, there's some bad stuff going on there. But just like every guy, given the keys to this wonderful country, you can mess up a little bit. Just don't put your head down. Go do some confession stuff or whatever. He's probably Catholic, right? He like 100% tries to get into the.
Do you know the actor who plays McNulty is like Irish Spanish or Welsh or something? Yeah, he's incredible.
He's not like specifically what they're trying to get him to be, because everyone loves not just the good classic American cop, patriot, badass, rogue, but they also like that sprinkled in white immigrant, Irish. And then every guy like that will love to just step up and say, excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear you talking about slavery throughout history, and let us not forget that the Irish were slaves. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Let us not forget that whites were actually slaves longer than any other race on the planet. or something made up, or listener, don't cut that from the entire sentence, please.
They drink at this Irish bar, and it's like everyone, the black guys, the white guys, everyone drink it doesn't matter what the underlying culture is. It's like the cops drink at this bar, the ship guys drink at this bar, color, creed doesn't matter. It's just based on their kind of work culture is where they go in that show. There's no segregation of that.
Maybe we lost it as a country when the cop bars went down. The amount of places that a cop can just go and have several dozen drinks comfortably and then peacefully cruise home after he's got to decompress. And that was a big theme throughout the show, the need for them to decompress because they were dealing with some real ass shit. And
well, they're homicide cops.
Yeah,
they're literally dealing in death every single day, like the death of mostly innocent people, constantly. So the only way you can process that is through substance abuse, naturally. We're just not equipped, especially men. We're just not equipped. Maybe nowadays, but back when they made that show, I don't think so, to handle those type of things. So I think it was a pretty accurate portrayal of how do you get through their marriages, their relationships were disasters. The cops, it was actually the criminals who had like amazing relationships. Their families were very supportive. They didn't abuse the main criminals, like what was his name?
Just use the internet that's in front of me here.
Not Omar.
Well, Omar was one of the best characters.
Yeah.
And that's who I named my
Avon Barksdale and D'Angelo Barksdale is his nephew, and Stringer Bell. Those two guys. They don't abuse Stringer. Anything. They're very close with their families. They had their relationships actually very tight. It was the cops that had terrible relationships. They're all divorced or cheating on their wives, getting hammered drunk every single night after work, just lost. And I think actually the guy who created it was in was part of the news organization, was part of the Baltimore Press or something like this, who was covering the police. There's a criminal right there.
This guy's a little mouth breather. I don't know if the mic's picking that up. He's always breathing with his mouth. He's got terrible breath. And you know what his name is? Booger.
No. Booger. Southern nicknames for cats are the best. We had one of the guys in my fraternity in college had a cat that we called Pickles.
Mm-hmm.
Pickles, the cat.
He a cat boy.
Booger.
He's a cuddler too, which is why it's funny that he's never really showed up for an episode yet, except for that one quick walk by. I guess he was just feeling the scene out. But the other one, very standoffish, and they're a brother and sister combination.
Well, I kind of like for the listener to keep it unknown how many cats you have. So it's just like a meme.
Yeah.
Like
when you get a few cats, I have two, and they come and go as they please. Cat door. I could have like several more without it making a difference. A video on TikTok, somebody posted some guy just laughing about shit, like going to a CVS in St. Louis, and it was the most ghetto fucking thing. And he's going in there like, oh, what the fuck is this? And he's just like giggling about it. And it was really good because it's opened up a new door to a new type of genre of just going into a business and being like, this place is an abomination. It shouldn't exist. Where are we at as a society?
Chains in the hood.
Yeah.
Right? Chains in low income areas.
I'll try to find it again. Because
they're like completely different establishments, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like we think we're taught that they're all standardized, like every CVS is going to have your knee joint cream and some Tylenol and some toys for the kids, some sodas.
That truck didn't get loaded. Sorry. Not in this neighborhood. Did not make it. Hey, there's a shortage in every possible level. And you know what's also gotten worse? Availability of truck drivers.
That's what I've heard, but I also have listened to a couple of YouTube's guys in the trucking industry talking about it, saying it's not the truckers.
Oh,
It's
it's a
the
lot of things.
shipyards.
A lot of things going on.
They
A lot of
say
things
it's not the
happening.
truck. Like the truckers are just sitting there at the ports. And I don't know. I know this was the case 6 months ago for sure. I don't know if it's been alleviated. It certainly doesn't feel that way based upon prices. They're saying they would just sit there waiting outside the shipyard. And the guys who work the shipyards, who bring the containers off the container ships, they get paid by hour, not by container. So they don't really care how fast things move. In fact, the slower it moves, the more work they have to pass along to the guys in the ship union. I don't know if it's union. I imagine it's unionized out in California where most of the stuff comes in. So the truckers are just waiting there. And there's nowhere to, so they got to bring the containers back, but they don't have any space to put the containers. So they can't do any. It's kind of like a clusterfuck right now. They don't have anywhere to put the empty containers. They're not bringing the stuff off the ships fast enough because they don't care to do it. They're not incentivized to do it faster because the faster they do it, the less work they have, the less hours they get. So that's what I had heard. Have you heard something differently?
That's going to address supply, right? That's what you were talking about. The chain of everything, where it starts from the containers going into the shipping yard and then getting dispersed onto the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about there is a shortage, a national shortage, and this was talked about in a conversation by one of the leading Teamsters that is vocal in organizing. And he specifically mentioned that CDL held professionals is a number that's been dwindling for some time. And I don't know if I've said this or not recently, but it's because you have to take drug tests to have a CDL in a world increasingly like disappearing need for drug tests. So where a lot of other areas are, you don't have to have a drug test.
I thought it would have to more do with the fact that the hourly wage for truckers hasn't increased by any significant margin over the past 20 years. That's also what I had seen.
There's a lot of reasons, I would guess.
The drug test makes sense, though. I mean, who's going to pass a drug test in 2022?
Who wants to have to be on the road all day and not be able to just forget all of that stress-inducing insanity and chaos that you have to deal with sitting behind a wheel without
driving on highways with fellow Americans.
Yeah. Who wants to drive?
Our fair American people.
I don't know. I mean, just driving stoned is awesome. Who'd want to drive anywhere not stoned? I don't know. But if you're in a truck all day, okay, well, what are you going to do? Just get drunk? But then that might take away time from the road the next day. And it's, a painful gig because you are getting out of your truck, and a lot of these truckers will be in a situation where they have to be a part of like getting stuff out from their container, out from their 50-foot, box behind them. Not all of them. It depends on the gig and the contract. Yeah, because I would consider being a truck driver too. But if I ever did it and then I got to that point of like, oh yeah, you got to do the piss test, but you also like are going to need to pass a piss test if you ever even like scratch something.
Can you imagine if you had to piss test to be an Uber driver?
Sorry, Uber.
No one would get anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's I guess driving a trailer you can do a lot of damage if you're driving severely impaired. I'm not saying smoking weed seriously impairs you, but if you're driving seriously impaired, you can do a lot of damage to people in a big truck. But you can also do a lot of damage if you're drunk off your ass driving an Uber around, or like, just did a little bit of crack. Hey, gotta let some steam off somewhere. It's the same. You're sitting in a car driving around the highways of America, just transporting people. They don't require that because they wouldn't have anyone to drive. The economy would grind to a halt.
They love it when there's more drivers out on the roads. More drivers means that the fare can be whatever they want it to be, but the payout can show less. Everything that they do is set up like you're always getting some kind of bonus, so they can always kind of have a baseline that's going this way. They started doing this thing last year where it was called Quest. And they would,
I love the gamification of your work. That's awesome.
Everything is like, do you have what it takes to possess the proper grind set to provide for all of the wonderful things that you are destined for in your life? All of these quests started sprinkling in, and all of a sudden they just stuck and they didn't go anywhere. And it went from,
what was it like?
More of a
drive 4 hours a day for 5 days straight. Like these type of things, like they set little quests for you.
Yes. How many you can do in like 48 hour, 72 hour, 144 hour venture. So it starts Monday, 4 a.m. and it goes until Friday, 4 a.m. And it started off like, if in this time period, if you do like 10 rides, 20 rides, 30 rides, 40 rides, you get a line item dollar amount. And what happened is that they started cutting off, like do 5 or 8 or 10, and they started making a minimum of like 20 or 30. And then that amount goes up. And one of the quests amount is do 80 rides in 4 days. And I don't know how it's possible. I do 4 rides.
That's what, like 10 hours a day?
I do 4 rides and I don't want to drive for another week. I don't know how people do this, because I would just get too like frustrated and just yell at my passengers, right? Just because that's what the being on the road does to you. If you're not on like high alert out there, and if you're not thinking, if you're not being too cautious, maybe you get a little upset. Like I haven't done it before, but I always want to pump the brakes before I ever get to that place emotionally. Just wore out, tired, and then someone gets in and you've already had to like meet them somewhere where they didn't place their pin, and what they're saying doesn't make sense, and then they try to like argue about something. Yeah, you would like not give a shit about them and tell them to get the fuck out, or just say, I'm going to take you, but I'm going to scream at you along the way, and then you'd have a bad rating, and then you'd not be able to do it in the time that it is lucrative to do. And it always keeps you on to accept the next ride. So every time you get into swiping to turn on the ride after you've got the notification and then you've accepted the ride, you go pick the person up, they get in, then you hit start ride. If you don't like go back into the settings once you pull off, once you like start pulling away, you could get prompted to do another ride. And if you don't take that prompt, it'll tell you now it's changed. It'll tell you a little bit more about where the ride's going, but it'll flash up in a little tiny little font at the bottom of the screen. And it won't be an exact address. It'll give you like cross streets and bullshit. But if you don't like select stop ride after you start driving away, in those moments, if it gives you a prompt to accept the ride and you don't accept the ride, then your acceptance rating drops. If your acceptance rating drops, it will alter your overall driver rating. So you could be the best driver and you could have the best experience with passengers and they could give you 5 stars. but you wouldn't be a 5-star driver if you didn't always accept the rides that were given to you. But hey, we're just contract partners.
Only a matter of time before they mic up your Uber and start giving you a conversation score.
Well, I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, I looking like you got a lot of good reviews here." It's like, well, I've been trying to start a podcast since 2017, and that's failed miserably. The year's now 2032. I'm 63 years old, and I think I'm ready to just sit down and start a family, get a job at Academy Sports, working in the back with the shoes or something. If you don't select, get me the fuck out of here, I'm not going to take another fucking ride from you, you'll get assigned a $4 ride. The next ride that comes up will be the cheapest possible ride because they're prompting you to get something done.
But doesn't that help your quests? Don't you want XP? Don't you want experience points?
If I get
so you can level up.
If I don't stop driving, I could get to 80 rides in a week, and I could get that mythical extra $350. All I'd have to do is just work 24 hours a day for 7 days straight.
But I thought you needed to do those 80 rides over 4 days. Right.
Yes, you're right. It'll start again Friday at 4:01 a.m. Yeah. 3:59 to 4. 3:59 a.m. 4 a.m.
Can you that could be a an interesting situation. It's like 3:50 in the morning on Friday. You're at ride number 79, and someone starts giving you shit.
And this is
about
what happened.
The ride, and they're not going to get out of the car or something. You have to do one more ride to get that $350.
And guess what? Because you selected 80 rides and not 70 rides, they're not going to give you the money for the next tier down.
Right.
You're done.
Right.
It's amazingly evil. It's so
so they don't even give you the bottom tier. Like let's say there's levels.
You have to
like, if you accept this quest.
Yeah,
like, you either do the whole thing
or more,
or you get nothing.
Nothing if you get less. How evil is that?
Can you accept multiple quests at the same time?
No, you just get to choose one. So I always choose the bottom tier. Yeah, fucking the lowest possible, and I never ever finish 20 rides in those Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, those 3 days, and the way that it's 4 days and 3 days, right?
How's Uber? I just want to see how Uber stock is doing. Well,
it doesn't matter when you basically are the fucking Skynet algorithm.
Down 44.9% over the past year.
It would be surprising if it was any other year, though, right? Or it
Even
would be notable, not necessarily surprising.
So right before COVID, so let's say you're in Uber right before COVID. So 2 years, February 2020, still down 20%. So, hey, listen, they got to get those numbers up somehow.
The shadiest stuff happens all day long as a driver. I've had rides that will complete and they'll show the money pending, and then it'll take a while, and then they'll say, the payout was $25 and there was a $22 deduction. And then I called, and it takes a long time to get in touch with someone.
Because they're doing it.
They're in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And the wonderful people in the Philippines that I talk to are usually pretty nice.
They're just trying to do their jobs too.
They say, oh, yeah, you're right. We'll look into that. Hold on. And then they do this series of like hold ons. They make you wait. And okay, we fixed it. But it's like, okay, well, why did that happen? What was the deduction? Yes, there was a deduction, and we cleared it up. No. What was the deduction for? Yes. See that the deduction is clear. Can I help you with anything else? It's like, no, why was there a deduction? It's listed in there. It's on the bill. And they have this like bill, this way bill. And there's, you probably are familiar.
How has their headquarters not been assaulted with various lethal weapons yet? I'm not saying to do that. I'm not recommending to be violent. I'm just saying it based upon the facts and how people are struggling to make ends meet. How has that company's infrastructure not been under incredible constant assault from regular people?
When did it happen? How many few hundred years ago did it happen where we went from all having sticks? Sure, there was a king, but at the end of the day, he had a stick or a sword, and you could too. Like it happened to where we can't touch them anymore because there was a time and place where humans would say,
"Dude, you didn't see Fight Club? You didn't see Fight Club?
You're right.
Project Mayhem?
Project Mayhem is the answer here. I got to rewatch that because it's all about powering the masses to just fucking kick ass as a unit, but like not like the army. It's like a rogue group of guys that would maybe be on Reddit, but now they're not.
No, certainly not.
now they've logged off and they've gone rogue.
The guys on Reddit going to Ukraine. That's a recipe for success.
That's not working out for you. I wonder why.
But that it's dystopian. It sounds dystopian, like just a robot controlling. Hello, you have been deducted $13,000 for immoral actions.
It's like, well, fuck. How am I gonna drive that off now? I guess I gotta drive straight for the next 4 months. I gotta do a 36,000 ride quest. Damn it.
It's no, I assume in the future it will be some type of indentured slavery where they will due to slight infractions, you will begin owing the company money and continuing to do tasks and quests in a gamified manner to try to pay back those imposed fines while never breaking the cycle. They'll have a company store that you'll use, they'll pay you some money, but most of it will be in credits, like company credits, some type of decentralized token that they'll create that you'll use to pay for the things that you need to survive. Because they need you alive to do this stuff. And after that, that's it.
They do need us alive. You're right.
They need you alive. They need you alive. They don't need you happy,
folks.
They need you alive.
They're not.
Have you looked into driving for Lyft? Is that any different?
It's worse. It pays worse. But
oh, really?
What just happened there with you is because they've been better about getting a better word out. Everyone thinks the way you think. Like the majority, like everyone generally, like the majority of people out there just assume because you really don't know unless you did it. Because
I've used Lyft a handful of times. And I remember the first time I used Lyft was in 2013.
Yeah.
This was really at the beginning of shared rides. Maybe this was in Nashville. Maybe it was bigger in like New York a year before that or something. But 2013, I want to say really the beginning.
Yeah.
So I remember getting in the guy's car. He had a really nice like Volkswagen GTI or something. They had the pink mustache on the car because you didn't know what to expect. It was so new, you had no idea. The pink mustache, fuzzy mustache on the car, and I got in the car. The guy gave me a fist bump. He's a total bro. What's up, man? Where are you going to? Took me. Was super happy. Just regular kid. Probably his parents paid for the car. Just happy to be making a little extra cash. That was the original idea. right? It was like a community service thing, right? You're making a little bit of money, driving some folks around, fist bumping with a pink mustache on your car. Yeah, it was goofy, keeping people safe. Hey, don't drive drunk, just use it. It was cheap. It was super cheap and convenient. And that was 9 years ago.
Turn some tricks while you're giving passengers rides. Hey, you need
that's why I was so impressed with Lyft.
Penis sucked. Can I suck your penis for
my PP?
Yeah, it just turn and burn. Keep those passengers coming. It was funny watching it throughout, like its life cycle, because it did this thing. It went through its moments, like friend of the show, Angus Cloud, went up and down. It had a thing where it did a mustache. That was cool. We've all been there. We've all had grown out mustache. And the pink mustache, well, that's just lets you know.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
It's like they're not afraid to share like a color of pink on their vehicle.
Ryan, these companies, I know you think that there was some tricks at play here, but these companies were founded by nerds, right? Like real hardcore nerds that thought pink mustaches on a car would be something cool. They thought it was cool. They're like, oh, hey, how do we get people to not be afraid of getting raped as they get into into a random stranger's vehicle?
I'm imagining,
and they're like, well, what if we put a pink mustache on the car? What's something to make the car look non-threatening? Like, oh, a pink mustache would be cool.
It's a silly decision. I'm imagining,
but it's a nerd decision. It's like putting a Ninja Turtle shell on the hood of the car, right? It just says like, we're nerds. Everyone doing this is harmless nerd with no issues. We're just trying to have some fun, guys. That was the original concept. That was the original brand. That was the original idea.
I was imagining wine moms, but nerd also fits. And Venn diagram between nerds and wine moms. Big Bang Theory watchers. Big Bang Theory watchers did that to us. But what you said about is Lyft any better is literally the same question that every person coming in for business says, because it's what we're told. And it is a talking point, and it's something that it just has floated out there for a long time. And I'm here to crush it, folks. I'm here to put that to rest. There is some areas that Lyft will probably pay out better. And sometimes I go turn on the Lyft app and I'll take some rides, and it will offer a bonus. And then I'll immediately shut it off and go back to Uber, because majority of the time, Uber is just going to pay you more as a driver. If you're a driver and you get kicked off of Uber here in the Atlanta metro area, a lot of drivers have said that they've been able to get on Lyft, but not Uber. So take that for what it is.
More exclusive.
But
More exclusive.
Lyft, cheaper as a passenger. Like when I need a ride, I want to call Lyft. Why wouldn't I? Of course.
Yeah, it reminds me of the situation with Walmart where they had everything cheaper, and everyone, even the people who owned stores that Walmart was putting out of business, would go shop at Walmart because it was more affordable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that happened before any of us were around. I remember that conversation growing up, like in high school. A friend of mine's dad is very conservative. I know it might be surprising. He was praising the effects of how Walmart could bring low prices into lower income areas. It's true. It does bring lower prices in. At what cost was never a question. That was never a question up until like recently in society. At what cost? At what cost do we really want to do that? Because
there goes all the manufacturing jobs. There goes all the retail, nice paying retail jobs. It just took the job and either threw it overseas or just eliminated it completely, or made it a half part-time wage slave endeavor.
Here's something that you could think about when asking yourself this question, because Walmart doesn't give you fine garments, right? So if you needed a suit and you're someone that has the means to buy a good suit and you have an idea of what you want, and you could go to like the beginning tier of suit places. Like if you get like a traditional suit or you need one, you could go to like a Men's Warehouse. I don't know too many more. Pantsuits, I don't know if they sell those also, but for men at least. If you had to find something that you wanted to really express yourself with, and say you had like a New Year's event and you need to wear something nice, and maybe you just didn't want to go to the same places that everyone else was going, you would need someone in your area that knows what the fuck they're talking about. Or you could buy it online, but that's hard to do for maybe like someone first time into buying suits, because you need to try a lot of that stuff on. Some guys go 20 years with like only wearing cargo shorts, and they don't necessarily know what size pant they are. So what's a blazer size? Like all these things are important. How do you wear it? How do you wear certain styles? With the Walmartification of our beautiful country, there is only a mass supply in constant need to repopulate. And if things go a little low for a while, that's not so good. And the stores start looking like that CVS on that TikTok video I watched. But if you have a place where you have to go and it's going to cost you a little bit more money, well, that person at that store is going to be able to live on sales. Maybe they still survive in this world. Maybe future generations will still see that. What cost are we going to lose it all to just the supply chokehold? Automation is full throttle in our future. I like what you said about indentured servants. We're going to, no doubt, they're going to start working together. Like your phone bill in your Uber, they're going to realize people need to.
I talked to you about my app idea called Life, where you just pay one fee and then that does everything for you. This
is operations that have the means to do this. They're going to realize, to keep everything rolling, that the integration is a must. Because when my phone was off the other day, I needed to get money to pay it, but I was like, well, shit, I can't drive Uber. So, hey, Uber, you want your money? just get, talk to this phone company. Y'all figure it out. And I'll just go drive to turn it back on. Because we don't have hope for better. We just have hope for more streamlined integration, I guess, that it would work on our end.
This is what I'm thinking about as you're talking. You will own nothing and be happy. There was an article written about this that I can't find. This is like a Medium page from the World Economic Forum. Yeah, like this is a meme. World Economic Forum. You'll own nothing and be happy. Nice smile. The elites hate you. It's not personal. Something like this. I haven't read this. The World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and you will be happy. That was their 8 predictions for 2030. Like I said, they need you alive. That's one thing for certain. So organ transplants, medicine, yes, this will be easy, more available. Well, we already talked about in the Bloomberg article, not eating meat.
Mm-hmm.
An occasional treat, like no that let me pause this for a second. An occasional treat, not a staple for the good of the environment. No, an occasional treat because you will have no resources to actually treat yourself. The world, we are destroying the earth. We need more people to come in and take your jobs, and that's never going to happen. this is one of my favorite bits from Tim Dillon, where he talks about how like the elites are gonna go into space. You know, like they're not gonna have little St. James Island like Epstein. They're gonna have little St. James Planet, little fuck planet as he calls it, where we're gonna have to be like, reading the news like, oh, Carrie Underwood is now relocating into space, and oh, good job, we're gonna have to applaud it. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are now relocating to the new Elysium up there, and we're gonna have to applaud it. So you could be preparing to go to Mars. Yeah, the elites are trying to escape like as quickly as possible because they know they're on a sinking ship. Like, what do you do when you're on a sinking ship? You head to the lifeboats.
Yeah.
And who gets the lifeboats? Not the women and the children, the people with the resources that can get to the lifeboat. So they're trying to get off this sinking ship as quickly as possible.
Bye-bye.